Okay, so I thought this would be fun, but I want to actually talk about a few things today, considering I had a thought, and you'd be like, why does a thought matter? Well, it does matter for a couple of reasons, because lately I haven't been doing all that much of introspective work. I know, big vocabulary. But something I thought about quite recently, which wasn't too horrible, is I was making a video exclusively for Rumble because there's just things that YouTube usually ends up banning. And it's because of their policies or whatever it is that their fancy terminology for it. But either which way, it is what it is. They they have their policies. I try my best to follow them if I can, if I want to, technically. But all in all, it ain't too bad. And I thought this would be a fun video idea. And it's just because I'm moving around and we get to play pool together. So, my agenda, see, I'll show you a cool thing about this pool table. It has a chalk holder. Now, something that I thought about, and I was doing a Rumble exclusive video just like 2-3 days ago. And the agenda behind it, see, that was a good break. Blue one went in. The agenda behind that was just to promote a level of thought for people who are in employment. And the main reason I did that video is because I've seen people that hold on to jobs, even if the policies of the job sort of goes against their personal beliefs. And why is that a big issue? Well, it's kind of simple actually, because you may want to think about it very deeply after I speak about this. If you have something in your life that you hold deeply personal to you, guess we're doing stripes first then. So let's say, like, my deeply held belief or personal opinion matters so much to me that I actually stand up for it in a very good way. So if I start standing up for my belief, then that means I'm good enough and qualified enough to stand up for other people's belief as well, and I can respect it. But if I compromise on my own personal belief, my deep personally held belief, then is it even all that deeply held? And do I even respect myself at all? So that's something you may want to consider. And I'm actually making you think, because I would ask you guys to think about this, because I see a lot of people living a life that they don't want to live simply because they're held by some ball and chain that they put themselves under, not necessarily because they've done anything about it, but they've they felt so obligated socially or politically or corporately or out of financial desperation that they don't think that far ahead as to how compromising your own deeply held beliefs affects you. I'll tell you why. It's very simple. The moment you compromise your deeply held belief, all the problems start, quite literally. Because this is when you can start becoming programmed or constructed in the way someone else wants you to be, not the way that you're meant to be, not the way that you were originally designed to be, but just the way that you thought that other people expect of you. Social chameleons, I like to call them. I was writing a book about the types of people there are socially, and one of the ways that I saw people act is a social chameleon. They end up acting exactly like the people that they hang out with. And it's true, you'll see it all the time. You see it almost on a daily basis. Some people act specifically at their job in front of their partner or whatever, but they blend in so well because they can just blend in with the person that they're around. And you may want to think about that. How many of them have you already seen? So keep in mind that I'm just doing this, and I'm saying this just for the purpose of food for thought in a very nice manner. I'm not going to try and hold anybody to some unreasonable standard of, oh, you should do this or you should do that. If you're a social chameleon and it works for you, good, but I don't trust those types of people at all. And no amount of money could ever pay me to either. But keep this in mind because you'll encounter a lot of people like this, and you'll see their biggest game is that they have to look the part. So they have to, if you love diesels, they have to love diesels. If you love the rainbow cult, they love the rainbow cult as well. It's basically a survival mechanism. I missed that because I was talking to you guys, but it's a survival mechanism because these people, they don't know anything beyond it, quite literally. And if they ever had an opinion of their own, it's not their own. It's because they're trying to appease something. So these are the people that follow appeasement theology, kind of like the people in the Bible that were sacrificing children and murdering or whatever you call it, desec- desecrating villages and stuff and other tribes and people groups just because they thought that that is exactly what God asked of them. But it's because of the appeasement theology, which in some places, even in Garhwal, there is appeasement theology followed almost everywhere. Almost everywhere. Because there is a local deity that asks you to do things that a normal god never really would. And by normal god, I mean like the traditional gods that they have. But that doesn't usually happen now, does it? So here's a trick about this cushion. Technically, if you're hitting a diagonal shot or a rebound shot, it should go there and come back this way. This one sends it right back. Let's see if we can do this. I'm not that good at pool, by the way. Anyway, like I was saying, something to keep in mind. Something to very definitely keep in mind. If you're a social chameleon and you get outed, you have to start taking self accountability. Because at that point, nobody can actually. So technically, I failed because I said that pocket. But it is what it is. If you're a social chameleon and you get outed, you have to learn to take accountability. And it starts when you actually hold personal beliefs. It doesn't work any other way. I may as well just play another round of pool while I'm talking to you guys. There is no other way for you to survive in the world without this sort of environment where you take accountability. You can't blame the world, you can't blame your parents, you can't blame your upbringing, you can't blame God, you can't even blame Satan for all of the Christians that are watching this. You can't use that as a scapegoat because of free will. And a lot of people talk to me about free will as if they have it down to a T. I'm sorry, but God is not a manipulator because, see, it goes back to the same conversation, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God left it there purposely to prove a point that there is full autonomy and free will. If you feel like you don't have free will, it's probably because you've been psyoped by some bigger entity than yourself. I figured I'd change the camera angle too so that you guys can see another perspective, because that is the primary reason behind this video, is just to offer perspective. What I've noticed in life, in my experience, lots of people don't have perspectives of their own. They think they do, and essentially in some way they do, but it's just doctored. It's psyoped, basically. They think that their perspective is their own, but it's because survival mechanism kicks in quite fast. And it's like I said, you have to learn to take self accountability. If you believe in something and if you don't stay true to it, then it's a you problem, quite realistically. So yes, a lack of accountability, especially self accountability, makes you a very unreliable person. And I know that because excuses go a long way into showing how useless you really are as a person. And if you've been making excuses, then I'm sorry, but time to face reality, in my honest opinion. You may want to start thinking realistically about how you're going to face reality. A lot of things that happen to you are your fault. You made decisions. It's like I said about free will. It's not, oh, God did this and the clouds were gray that day, so it happened. No. Why did you go out? Start thinking in a way where you can actually fix the problem by fixing yourself first, in all honesty. And if you guys know me, that's exactly what I talk about. No fluff, only truth. And I'm going to be as truthful to you guys as possible. That's what I'd rather have you guys know me for than some guy that just talks to a camera and sometimes plays pool. So, like I said, I want to make sure that you guys can trust me for always being genuine and honest with you, because I'm not in the business of lying. That's not what I do. I'm here primarily just to make sure that you guys hear the stuff that you need to, because a lot of people will try to escape that and try to fluff it up for you. But see, the thing about reality is it doesn't care how sweet you want the truth. Isn't that why people drink alcohol? Because it's not sweet. They actually crave truth. They want to at least numb it inside of them, but they're trying to confront truth with bitterness, basically, without having to face the bitterness at all of their own life. What is the biggest thing that keeps you from taking self accountability, first of all? Second of all, why is it such a big hindrance for you? And see, I'm playing pool. This is a game of self accountability. I messed up the shot. Maybe I didn't focus too much. Maybe I didn't aim well. That's why the ball didn't go in. If you want to play or do anything in life, it requires self accountability. Every decision you execute is kind of like pool. Think about it. It's very much like pool. It's like any sport ever. If you missed a goal in soccer, it's because you made the mistake, not what someone else did. Someone could have blocked your shot, but why didn't you see it? That's the most honest way to look at it. It's brutal for you in the beginning, but after a while you learn how helpful it is. It's like I said in the last video, it's your unfair advantage, because not a lot of people are willing to take self accountability. I know very few people that do actually take self accountability. Very few. And I try to teach it to the people that are very close to me. Don't go on and blame the world for what happened to you or what went wrong with you. Focus on what you can do to change it, because it's your personal problem. You're the only person that's going to care enough to fix it. It's like being old and still expecting someone to you know clean your diaper even though you wear underpants, but or boxers or whatever you're into. Not my problem. See, again, it's my fault. Ball went in here. I could say, oh, it's the carpet's fault or whatnot, but it is my fault. I'm busy trying to speak to you, but that's not an excuse either. I should be able to get it all in, because that's what I'm trying to talk to you guys too about as well. It's all about you. For you, not for me. See, no matter how much you want people to care about you, they'll only care about you as long as things are going well for you, not the other way around. People don't like to have burdens. I said it in the last video. People really don't like burdens. And if you are a burden, why would anyone else bother to spend time with you? Technically, I failed, but I'm here to practice shots. I don't like to hang out with people that are a burden to me unless they're very close to me. But at that point in time, they're very verified. Very, very verified. They're vetted. I make sure that it's even worth my time in the first place. Why should I heal? I'm not in the business of broken hearts, basically. Even my friends know that. If you have a girl problem, don't come to me. I don't care. I couldn't care less. Because I've picked myself up countless times and I don't expect anybody else to come and save the day for me. It's my decision. I decided to be in a relationship. The girl broke my heart because of some mistake I made. It's not even she found another man or whatever the excuse is, or I wasn't good enough. The truth is, I wasn't good enough in some way, because if I was good, she would have kept staying. She would have had no problem staying. Do you understand now? So my friends rarely come to me when it's the business of broken hearts, because they know. They just know that They can't expect much from me to get pity and sympathy. The only thing they can expect is to just get told, fix yourself up, pick yourself up. That's just how life works. And in the end of the day, they're very happy because those brave few people who actually analyze themselves with me end up with a higher success rate. They become better men. And that's what we want in society. But it is what it is. So start taking accountability and watch how your life changes day by day. Start with something small and just stick with it. Just simply stick with it. Because when that happens, when you start translating these things from smaller things, like, okay, the car ran out of gas. Why did it run out of gas? Is it a money problem? How could I have made more money? How could I have changed my spending habits or my earning habits to make sure that I did have enough money for fuel today and that I didn't have to run out of gas? Am I overdue on a college project? How could I have fixed that? Is there any other way that I could have changed that? Because most of the times you'll realize very quickly, if you are very brutally honest with yourself, you'll realize very quickly where you messed up. And that is what helps you in the long run. Because if you can implement the lesson that teaches you, especially self accountability, a lot of lessons can be self taught. Some of the best people that you meet will be the people that have not been taught by others but been taught by themselves, self taught. Have you seen very talented people in life? And I mean, like, it's not a joke. Like, they must have been taught by the best of the best. And then they tell you, oh, I'm self taught. Like, a lot of people are really good at pool, but nobody gave them the time of day to teach them. But for some reason, they're self taught and they're the best at what they do. Some people are really good at business, but they're self taught. Nobody sat down and mentored them or taught them what to do. They're self taught because they took self accountability and they learned the lessons when they were staring them right in the face. You could look in the mirror every day and there would be a lesson for you every day if you would just be willing to pay attention and look at yourself in that way. You'd realize half the lessons that are sitting in you are so monumental that they could be the biggest thing that changes the way your entire life functions, the way your life operates on a day to day basis. If you had just done that one thing, and I'm not saying the time is too late for you, you can implement today. Start with something small, like I just said, and figure out examples on your own. Time management. Did I waste 30 minutes today scrolling when I could have been creating content or doing something else or cleaning my room or whatever? Think about the smaller things. Oh, why is it so late now and I don't want to do it? Because I was wasting my time earlier. I can guarantee you wasted time earlier that day or today. Do the things that you're supposed to do and start implementing the change that it teaches you instantly, because when you build this momentum up, it becomes very contagious. People around you can sense it. They know that you're willing to learn from your mistakes. A lot of the reason that I don't get corrected too much is because I'm willing to learn from my own mistakes, and that self-teaching habit needs to be implemented first. If you look at if you look at David, he takes self accountability in the whole book of Psalms. If you look at his life in general, he's taking self accountability the whole way through. He had enough times in the Bible where he could have executed Saul, and yet he chose not to. I know for certain there were two times. He went to the tent and he could have killed him. He went to the enemy camp, went into Saul's tent, and he could have killed him. And one of the people did say, let's kill him. And then there was the other point in time where Saul is in a cave and they're tucked deeper into the cave. And again, they have the opportunity to kill him, but he doesn't. He's taking self accountability all the time. And even in the speech, you can notice it. I was telling one of the people here earlier about this last week. Free will and self accountability go hand in hand because it makes you a responsible individual. Someone that God can trust, someone that a girl can trust with her life, someone that kids can trust their providence and protection with. It just goes up and up. And I told him, I said, have you ever paid attention to what's said in the Bible in the Old Testament especially. May God deal with me, be it ever so severely, if this. And that was the way they spoke about bad things in general. That if this is false, or if this happens, or whatever, may God deal with me, be it ever so severely. Willing to take the consequences. And consequences can be good or bad. We've just been taught to make sure that we think about it as a bad thing when it's not really a bad thing. Sometimes consequences can be the best things that happen to you in your life. It depends on you and what you make the most out of it. Here's what I'll say to you to keep in mind. It's not so much about what didn't happen, what could have happened, because what didn't happen, what should have happened. It's about what you can do now and what you could do later on if you just learn the lesson that's staring at you in the face. So don't make that mistake of living in the past as well when you take self accountability. And yeah, be willing to face the consequences. I know the consequences I face of being here. I have to deal with them. That's just part of life. And if you run away from dealing with consequences your whole life, you're going to live not even a half life, but a very unfulfilled life. And deep down in your own heart, you'll be true to yourself enough to know that this is because you never stuck to a decision. You never decided to stay through with one decision that you made in life. You always skipped out early. I'm guilty of it at times. I dump out of projects when I feel like it's no longer serving me the way it should have been. And that doesn't mean that I deny God any access at all. It just means that I consult him the whole way through and I figure out who God and I, need me to be. And even though I know this is not a religious video, he's on the other side of the table and he's watching me speak to you. So some of you need to just take this lesson to heart very seriously. He's allowed me to be here, and if I decide I don't want to be here, no matter how beautiful this place is, no matter how beautiful this pool room is, and if I mess up in one way or another, I'll learn the lesson. And if he says, no, Miraz, I actually need you to leave this place, and then I'll leave. He says, you learned the lesson, you paid your consequences, now move forward. Do better. Now you know how to excel in life in this way because of the lesson you learned. And I want the same thing for you. Genuinely, I do. Have a great week. Have a great month. Have a great year. But start to take self accountability. I can guarantee that you are not going to regret it at all. And I want the best for you. You and me together. Let's go.